Hi, I'm Deanne Marie, creator of Your Virtual Decorator, and this week's tip will help you turn any bookcase or hutch from pretty good to pretty fabulous in just a few steps. This week I'm using a new product that I just found at Target. It's from Devine Color and it's peel and stick wall covering. You can also use it on any smooth surface like furniture. This is about $24 a roll, and I'm going to show you how I use it to redo this bookcase. But because this is a really important piece to me and I'm not sure how the product comes off, I've never used it before, I'm going to use an extra step. And this is something that you could do if your surface isn't smooth or you're concerned about the piece. And that is to have a piece of hardboard cut at your local home improvement store. Now, I found this one at Lowe's for $9. So we're less than 40 bucks to redo this entire bookcase. And simply have it cut to size. It is 1/8 inch hardboard. It comes in 4-foot by 8-foot sheets, and in my experience they're more than happy to cut it for you at the store. It just saves you the extra step and bother when you get it home. But first things first, we've got to take this all apart, clean it up, and I can't wait to show you how it all comes together. First, remove everything from the bookcase and be sure to give it a good dusting or cleaning. So that looks pretty good. So now is the time to measure. My piece has a stationary shelf in the middle. So I'm going to take both the top and bottom measurements, width and height for each section, with me to the store to have the pieces cut. And once I do that, I've got my workstation set up in the hallway, and I'll show you how to apply the wall covering. Roll out the paper on your surface, giving yourself a little bit extra at the top and bottom edge. Here I'm leaving about 1.5 inches. This is mostly so I don't have to make a super straight cut, and I can just tuck the excess under the top and bottom and it'll give me a nice smooth edge. Now I need 2 pieces of paper for each section because my board is 34.5 inches wide, but the paper is only 20.5 inches wide. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a second piece, and then the second piece I'm going to cut down the width just so I'm not dealing with quite as much paper. Again, I'm going to leave a little bit of an overhang so I can tuck that excess under the edge, giving me a nice smooth side edge. Once all the pieces are cut for both of my panels, I can go ahead and start applying. To apply the paper, peel back a corner and reveal about 4 or 5 inches. That's all for now. Place the backing paper underneath. Now this is super sticky. It will stick to anything and everything in its way, including itself. We're going to start up in this upper corner, getting the paper really straight against the edge. We've got that little bit of overhang that we'll tuck under later. Now I'm using my edger that you can find in any paint and wallpapering section of a home improvement store. And I'm going to use that to help me smooth it out. So I'm holding on to, let me show you what I'm doing. I'm holding on to the backing paper underneath with one hand, and I've got my edger in the other hand. And I'm going to use the edger to help smooth the paper onto the board while pulling the backing paper off with gentle, steady pressure. There we go. Now I've got just a couple of air bubbles. It's so great. This paper is repositionable, and it's not a big deal to just pull it up, stick it back down, and smooth out any air bubbles with the edger. Nice. Perfect. All right. But that looks pretty good to me. Let's move over to the other side, and I'll show you how to do the pattern match. So a pattern match for a wall covering simply means matching up the 2 sides of the paper so that the seam looks, well, seamless. So let's find a good match here. This paper is pretty random, so I can get away with a little more, so there's more leeway. If it's a very specific pattern, you have to be very, very careful to match it up perfectly. Otherwise, you'll go, something's off there. All right, so that looks like a pretty good seam. Just going to reposition that just a touch. But I'm going to use the same procedure and just smooth this down to get this applied. There we go. Now I'm going to work out these bubbles. I'm going to reposition it so my seam is perfect. Just reposition it, smooth it out. Super easy. Reposition it, smooth it out. And I'm just going to keep doing that until I'm satisfied. And then I'll do my other panel and we'll get it up on the bookcase. Let's get this installed. Perfect. And now the shelves. Last one. Perfect. So we have a beautiful new back on this bookcase. I love it. And be sure to come back next week where I'll show you how to style the shelves using books, accessories, and a lot more. So that's next week here on Decorating Tips. Until then, I'm Deanne Marie reminding you to love where you live.